Hey guys, I'm back with another review, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing Stillwater. I just saw this recently at around 7 o'clock, and well, let's get to it. It stars Matt Damon, Abigail Breslin, and Camille Cotton, and is a drama about a man who goes to Marseille, France, in order to help get his daughter out of prison for a crime she may or may not have committed. Now, I'm a big fan of Matt Damon. I love him in almost everything that I've seen him in. I loved him in the Jason Bourne films. I've loved him in The Departed, and of course, in my opinion, is one of his best and one of his first outings as an actor and as a writer is, of course, in Good Will Hunting. I love that film. That movie is so well written and so well acted by everybody, including him and Robin Williams. So I went into this movie knowing that I was at the very least going to get a really good performance, generally good performance from Matt Damon, and it was going to be exciting. This movie blew my expectations out of the water. It is not a perfect film, though, but I'll get into that later. Right now, I just want to talk about the acting. The acting in this movie is phenomenal. It is so good. I mean, these characters, they don't feel like they don't feel like Hollywoodized versions of what you would normally see out of these types of characters. They feel very real, and that is one of the biggest praises I can give a drama a drama filled movie with these kinds of characters, that they feel real. Matt Damon's character, he feels like a living, breathing person that you would see. There were times in this movie where I was genuinely watching Matt Damon and thinking to myself, wow, like he disappeared. Like, and that's the best kind of acting, is when you can watch an actor you've known from so many things, but he can just disappear on screen because he's just doing that good of a job of playing this particular character. And Matt Damon, I would say, is my favorite part of the film by far. He's so good in the emotional scenes. He's great in the scenes where he's investigating things. He's great in the scenes, and he plays really well off of Abigail Breslin, who I must say, my goodness, what a great performance from her. I'll again, another actor that I've loved seeing in a lot of films. I loved her in Zombieland. I thought she was really funny, and of course, she's known for some of her early work in Signs. She's terrific in the film. You absolutely feel for this character that she plays, but without getting into spoilers, some things come up where you don't know whether or not you should be on her side or not. But again, I won't get into spoilers. Now, the character that Camille Cotton plays is sort of Matt Damon's friend in the whole thing. She helps him out with the investigation, helps him out when he needs help, like where he needs a place to live and all that. And again, without getting into too much, they do some things with the characters that I generally did not expect. I really was. There was a point in the movie where I was watching these two characters interact, and I'm thinking, oh no, please don't go down this route. And it does go in that route, but they do something near the very end of the movie where I was like, oh, you were setting something up there, and I didn't even realize it. And that part really blew me away. And again, I must reiterate, these characters felt so real, and you really felt for Matt Damon's character because he went on a personal journey of trying to help his daughter get out of prison, but also on a personal journey for himself and who he is as a person and what he values and how much has changed in him. Now, as for negatives, the movie does go on a bit too long. There's also a part in the second act where the story sort of meanders, and the most fascinating part of this film is the whole investigation aspect into the crime. Who did it, and who might have done it, and is this girl that Abigail Breslin plays, did she do the crime or did she not do the crime? Is she guilty or innocent? And that part of the film is really riveting and really had me on the edge of my seat. And then in the second act, it sort of drops it a little bit and then goes on, and it kind of meanders where you're with Matt Damon and then he's on this personal journey, which is fine. It really didn't bother me that much, although watching the film I noticed that, man, can we just go back to the investigation part? And then the movie's just like, no, 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 we're just gonna show you what this guy's going through for this certain amount of time, and we're like, okay. And you just sort of have to go along with it. You don't necessarily get back to the investigation bit until it goes into the third act, which is really good and very powerful, extremely powerful. I mean, the ending of this film is just heartbreaking, and Damon is just so good in the film. He really did steal the whole film, and really makes this movie worth the price of admission alone just on his performance. I had a great time with it, and I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. There's some second act meandering issues, but if you're really connected with Matt Damon's character, which I was, then I think you're really gonna enjoy the things that they do in this movie. And it's not typical. It takes risks, which I appreciate.